Let me call to order the July 26, 2012 council meeting. May I have a roll call?
Mr. Barker. Ms. Darrell.
Here.
Mr. Engel.
Here.
Mr. Martin. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Molnar.
Here. Okay, this evening I would like to ask Nick Molnar to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and do our invocation for us. Nick?
For the invocation this evening, I'd like to take a moment of silence in remembrance of the folks that lost their lives in Colorado. Thank you.
Okay, minutes. We have some minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, before we move on to public comments, I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge receipt of the June financial report prepared by our finance director.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, and thank you, Dave. All right, next we're going to move into comments by the public. Any comments made by the public can be done so right here at this microphone. We ask you to state your name and your address. Are there any public comments?
Hello, I'm Sylvia Hannikin, Hampton Drive, Macedonia. I'm just following up on a couple of things from last month's meeting. The new website and blog that we're creating, it's going to be called Macedonia Civic News and Blog. And hopefully it's going to be up next Tuesday. We'll be sending out emails announcing it. The purpose of the website will be to describe each of the meetings that we're having, provide agendas in the city, and we'll also be just talking about some of the good news things in Macedonia, like, for example, Dunkin' Donuts. I was over there yesterday at the new site for Dunkin' Donuts on Bedford and 82. I ran into Ken Bloom over there, and we had a nice chat, and he was pretty happy that I was going to kind of publicize his particular business. And I told him I was going to get a picture from the city, but I haven't been able to obtain that picture yet. So I'm hoping that despite the fact that something about a copyright issue had come up, that we'll be able to get the picture. I want to show what they're doing right now and then what it will look like. It's going to be a very nice building. I've also got some pictures of other things that are going on in Macedonia, including the repave of some of the streets. And I've got some other things going, which I can't announce now because we're still working them. So at any rate, the website will be maccivc, maccivc.org, and it'll be up, we'll announce it via email sometime next week. Thank you very much.
Are there any other public comments? I'd like to recognize Bill Romer, who's our county councilman at large.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the time, Mayor. I'm Bill Romer, Summit County Council at large. I represent all 31 municipalities in Summit County, but one of the commitments I made when I was elected is that I would continue to travel around the county to make sure I knew the issues that the elected officials, that the residents face in Summit County, so that when I vote, I was voting from an informed basis. We have been in Summit County Council on summer recess for the last couple of weeks. I've used that as an opportunity to travel around the county and meet a number of people. I've heard a number of issues from open burning to stormwater. Last night, your neighbors to the north in Northfield Village had issues relative to signs. So I want to make sure that I'm aware and informed. I'll be available after the meeting if anyone would like to talk, if there's any issues or any questions that you might have. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bill. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move right into our meeting with pending and new legislation, starting with ordinance number 44-2012.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 44, 2012 for a third reading by title only.
An ordinance amending section 54910 of the Macedonia Codified Ordinances to provide limited discharge of firearm on personally owned property.
And what's your pleasure?
Make a motion that we, I- yeah, were you going to make a motion to hold it or not?
No, you were gonna make a motion.
No, I wasn't. I was
Hold on.
introducing it. I thought,
Right, right. So you need a second?
Nick, are you making a motion to hold it?
I'd like to hold it at 2. I'd like the motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Roll call. You're talking about tabling it or keeping it
Holding
on
it at second.
second reading?
He already, excuse me, I didn't mean to say he. Counselor Engel already offered it for its third reading, so now he's backtracking it.
Would be motion to
Third
table.
reading, but he didn't make a motion to adopt yet.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we
Oh, no,
pass.
no, no, Mr.
All right.
Deemer just explained. He just explained. You didn't go to the next step, so, so you hold it at second. Ms. Darrow said yes, and now you want a roll call. Ms. Darrow,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
No.
Mr. Miller,
No.
Mr. Mulner.
I want to be clear what we're voting on here.
Hold it
We're
at
voting
second.
to
Hold
hold
it
it.
at second? Yes.
Okay, so it's 2-2.
Mayor?
Out of respect for our councilman that is unable to attend tonight, I think it's only fair for him to voice all that he has found out. Shane Barker brought this legislation forward, has had meetings, is able to answer questions. So I would like to vote that we hold it at second reading until Shane can be here. Moving on to ordinance number
59.
59, 2012.
Make a motion that we, I'd like to offer ordinance number 59, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
An ordinance confirming the final appointment of Karen Nelson to the position of full-time dispatcher. And Mr. Deemer explained that you're allowed to do this because it's an appointment and it was really last year.
Okay.
Because there's only 4 of you here, it's a
Right.
little bit different, but he'll explain why you're able to do this particular thing.
Joe, would you use your mic, please?
Yes, this is an administrative matter, and therefore council does not need to suspend rules, and you don't need a supermajority. A simple majority of council is necessary to approve the appointment.
Thank you, sir.
What's your pleasure?
Need a motion to confirm.
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 59, 2012.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Ordinance 59, 2012 passes. Is Karen here? No, John's not here, so. Ordinance number 60-2012.
I'd like to offer ordinance 60, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All,
An ordinance confirming the final appointment of Kelly Wampum to the position of full-time dispatcher.
and what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 60, 2012.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Ordinance number 60-2012 passes. I'm sure if John was here, he would be telling you how desperately we needed dispatchers. So thank you very much for voting for these appointments. Next, we have resolution number 61-2012.
I would like to, I would like to introduce Resolution Number 61, 2012, for its first reading by title only.
A resolution authorizing, I've got authoring. A resolution authorizing the City of Macedonia to participate in the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program.
And what's your pleasure?
No.
It's just the first.
It's
Yeah,
a
just
first
a
reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Ordinance number 62-2012.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 62, 2012 for first reading.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement for a dump body with snowplow and salt spreader package for a new 2013 International from Concord Road Equipment Manufacturing, Inc. through the State Ohio Purchasing Program.
Moving on, ordinance number 63-2012.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 63, 2012 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Yeah, one.
And
Yeah.
correction for its first reading by title only.
Thank you. A resolution authorizing the Director of Finance to pay Noyce Enterprises, Inc. for the State Route 82 emergency pavement repair.
All right, that would be the repair that was caused by the pipe breakage. Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to introduce a motion to authorizing the Director of Recreation to accept on the behalf of City of Macedonia a donation from Home Depot, Macedonia, Ohio, for the purpose of beautification of Longwood Park in the areas of the pavilion, the playground area, and the restrooms, which includes 180 bags of mulch valued at $660, perennials valued at $250, shrubs valued from $400 to $450, and black valued from $500 to $600, for a total estimated value of $2,000 by Home Depot employee volunteers. I think I said that right. Did I?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Home Depot. That's a ton of not only money for the flowers, but work. I'm sure they have to pay those employees. Are there any other motions or legislative actions? Correspondence from the clerk?
I just have two emails, sir. This is from Frank Kovach. Recently, having a 911 call for my 93-year-old mother 2 days in a row. I would like to thank the Macedonia Fire Department paramedics for their caring and compassionate demeanor and compliment them on their professionalism. This is to the Recreation Department from Bill Hinkle of Boston Mills Road. Ms. Gimrick, I just wanted to drop you a line to thank you and your staff for implementing the new Wi-Fi access to the Mac Rec. It's an amenity I wished for, and here it is, and working perfectly. Thank you again. That is it, sir.
All right, we'll move right into the mayor's report. Just so everybody knows, I just returned back to work after 2 weeks vacation. Although I have almost daily conversation with various staff members, there is no earth-shattering consequences without me in my office. I cannot say it often enough that my staff does a great job, and city functions and services go on without a hitch. I thank you all for what you do and how well you do it. The city is progressing and filling empty storefronts and businesses. New retail businesses are always at our doorstep looking at ways to get into one of the best locations you could possibly have halfway between Akron and Cleveland. Manufacturing interest is peaking as the huge infrastructure repairs move towards completion. The Cleveland Plain Dealer ran a front-page story on July 20th, 2012. The headline read, "Improvements to urban roadways called crucial to economic growth." The reporter was Harlan Spector, and my office will be contacting him with written agreement to the concept It's something we've always believed in here in Macedonia. They may have made reference to the large metropolitan area, but the same holds true for us. Over the next 3 years, we will address every major road that affects improving the economic development possible in Macedonia. Building bridges and widening roads has been a priority to make our city more desirable. Building the bridge and widening State Route 82 has already paid for itself, probably because of the amount of people who come here and spend money in our town. Today, they are able to get through the main road in Macedonia easier. Now, maybe they shop here instead of somewhere else. Maybe if the old bridge was here, they wouldn't even want to come here. The neighborhood streets are still a problem, as you would expect from roads that have not been addressed since Kennedy was our president. I don't know if you realize that we have roads that have not been touched since the 60s. Our average rehabilitation cost per year can easily reach $1.5 million. And that would only put our streets in a 20-year cycle starting today. My office has been working with the Akron Arrows to promote an interest in a team that serves the Cleveland Indians. Look for $5 tickets for Saturday, August 25th at City Hall and the Rec Center. They are close to us. Getting in, getting out is not really a problem as far as getting into the stadium. You park across the street, you walk in, and there you go. There will be fireworks. They always have all kind of gimmicks going on in between innings, so it's very much entertainment, and a family of 4 can go for 20 bucks. First Energy has notified that they will be working in Macedonia and expanding their service. So they will be adding to existing power lines. Our representative is Joe Fega. He's our area representative, and he will be here at future council meetings to answer any questions. I think a lot of people are afraid when you start getting a lot of power running nearby your house that it could have an adverse effect on health. So we'll let the experts tell us if that's true or not. Also today, both Josephine and I were notified by First Energy that there were severe summer storms predicted across much of the Midwest today, and Ohio Edison has started mobilizing in employees and resources as of right now. The high winds, forecast to be in excess of 60 miles per hour in some regions, have the potential to cause significant damage in the electrical system, and they're getting all ready for it. So right now, we're in a meeting, and we might go out and see one hell of a storm. It's nice to know that they're getting ready and preparing, and they're sending this out to local municipalities to pass on. And luckily, I have the ability to do that with you now. For those who have a computer and work it, you can go to www.firstenergycorp, all one word, .com. If you lose your lights, we ask you to call them or notify them. And the number you call is 1-888-LIGHTS, spelled with 2 S's. 1-888-544-4877. If an electrical line actually is on the ground and you can see it, you call our dispatch, you call our fire department, you call our police. But sometimes during the storms, there are people who are injured, there are people who need help seriously, and the person that's responsible for getting them help is the dispatcher. If the dispatcher's answering a phone saying, okay, your lights are out, is anything else wrong? No, call the electric company. While they're doing that, seconds count, and somebody might be in dire need of our dispatcher getting a hold of our safety forces, not the electrical company. So please do not call our dispatchers unless you can actually see where a wire is down and sparking. You better believe you should call the dispatcher right away. As far as construction, Dunkin' Donuts is under construction. Popeyes is posting signs that it will be opening soon. A lot of cholesterol's coming our way real quick. We have over 24 homes starting construction this year. You know, that's a good sign, because homes are still desirable here, and that helps everybody's home values. People living here are also building additions because they want to stay here. We have many, many people in our city building additions onto their homes, and Mike will fill you in on that a little bit later, but that's a good thing, okay? Because people want to stay in the area, and instead of moving, they're fixing up their old house. The hospice project that was supposed to be built across the street from City Hall still does not have the bed permits. Remember that what they had to move back in the line waiting to get for beds because of the hoops that were presented to the developer to jump through. Beds are assigned by the state, only so many are available, so everybody's on hold. That includes the developer, who's already sunk close to $100,000 in that property to build. That included paying for the election to get the proper zoning. That included taking down some houses, making some changes. So right now, that hospice is on hold, and we can only hope that they will give us those bed permits. Since that time, Twinsburg and Hudson have both gotten bed permits before us because they were able to get in their requisition for bed permits quicker. As far as the city goes, everything's in place. As far as the city putting money into this project, that's zip. I don't think we've really put anything into this project except maybe some stamps on a letter. But we would all benefit so much from the city income tax it would generate if built. So we got to keep our hopes up. I have a meeting tomorrow with the new company that's interested in coming to Macedonia that produces food. I have people that are constantly contacting us regarding our stimulus for businesses to come here. As everyone knows, Macedonia offers a MOP, which is a refund on city income tax in order to attract businesses. While we're at it, I'd like to thank Bill for the fact that our county has been very, very strongly supporting legislation and actions that deter people from stealing businesses from each other. Nothing's, you know, we have to start thinking of the effect that would happen if somebody comes in here and steals away the businesses that we have worked so hard to bring here. So thank you, Bill, because County Council has made it now so that pilfering is going to be not discouraged, not encouraged. So that's a good thing. And that ends my report for tonight. Moving on to committee reports. Any committee reports? Hearing none. Department reports. Jim?
Yes, on July 14th, Macedonia hosted a paper shredding event for the Summit Akron Solid Waste Management Authority. The paper shredding event attracted 274 Summit County residents, and they recycled over 10 tons of paper. Of the 274 cars, 72 were Macedonia residents. Our mulch program has come to an end for 2012. Thanks to all who participated and recycled their yard waste. We put some 1,000 cubic yards of free mulch to good use. Service and Parks crews are currently performing stormwater road culvert replacements at Meadowlawn and Blueberry, catch basin replacements in Park Ledge Estates and Crowside Streets, also replacing handicap ramps, aprons on various streets. We did some park shelter improvements, painted the posts, power washed the floors, as well as the picnic tables. Also did the same with the dock at Longwood, and that's going to be soon treated to preserve the wood as soon as the weather cooperates a little bit more and it's not as hot. Sign departments replacing street signs with new retro reflectivity mandates. All of August, we're going to be renting a crack sealing machine and crack sealing various streets in the city. We did have this curb streets in the city swept recently within the last 2 weeks. All the pavement markings on the streets are pretty much completed except for a couple small spots. We also had some stormwater sewer grouting done at 6 locations throughout the city. That's complete. All we have to do is restoration and some repairs to the sidewalks that the storm sewers made them sink and settle. In the city center, we painted all the first and second floor hallways. As of July, we've been in this building for 15 years. Sidewalks at Longwood Park to the new playground have been done, and we restored all the areas. We're trying to get some grass to grow. It seems to be a pretty big hit back there with the kids in the camp. Always seems to be pretty busy. As I mentioned, we're going to be crack sealing in August, and also in September we're going to be leasing a machine called a Durapatch machine, and we're going to try to do some road patching, and if it seems to be successful, we'll ask to include it in our capital improvements for next year. We're going to try to see what we can do with the rec center parking lot, try to get that patched up, try to get some of those dips out of there, and some of the really bad alligated areas. We're going to try to work on that. We also today removed the playground equipment at Sugar Bush Park, so there's not a playground there. We'll have to see what we can do about getting something back up there. It was in dangerous condition. There were some pieces missing and some screws sticking out, and we did have an inspection and they said it should be removed. That's all I have.
Well, that's a lot. The striping on every street in Macedonia is being striped?
Yes, for the most part, yes.
Okay. When was the last time we did that?
You know, we've been piecemealing it together actually, because we were kind of piggybacking off of some of the construction projects. You know, like when they did South Freeway and that, those were striped. So, and sections of 82, but a full job probably since 2008.
So, good job.
Yeah.
It's good that you work within your budget and you're able to get more done each and every year.
Jim,
Thank you.
Jim, we striped the streets because it's a safety issue,
Yes.
and we leveled that sidewalks that collapsed because it's a safety issue.
Yes.
Then why don't we fix that guy's sidewalk on Crow? That's clearly a safety issue. If where the water washes out under the sidewalk, if that will fix, why don't we fix where the water pools in front of the tree and it sucks the water up and it makes the tree grow faster and it pushes up the sidewalk? That's a storm issue as well, I think.
Yeah, I had some information I was going to give you on that, and being that we haven't met for a while, a lot of other things came up. I could get with you on that.
Well, it's just that all of our other surrounding communities say that they would fix that sidewalk in the same situation, and we don't. And I just can't understand why. You gotta convince me.
Yeah, I mean, most I checked with said that it's still the resident's responsibility, and like I said, we'd have to remove the sidewalk, ask him to have his contractor just work with us, remove the sidewalk, and we could possibly ramp over it and or use some root guard, unless he truly wanted to lose the tree, you know, which most people don't
In
want to
other
lose.
words, if he didn't care if the tree was there, if the tree is a source of problem both in the road and on the sidewalk, wouldn't it make sense to get rid of that tree and level the guy's sidewalk in the interest of safety? Because I got customers complaining, residents, they jog there, they trip, it's gonna be a disaster.
If he wanted to lose the tree, you know, I guess if that's what everybody wanted to do.
I don't
Like
think he
said, we
cares
could try to
if he's-
ramp it up and over. I mean, I'd personally keep the tree if it was my house, you know, but that's,
And that tree's been there for 30 years, he's been there for 29, so he didn't put the tree in. And the problem is, we're all gonna get sued.
yeah, I mean, the way the ordinance reads, he would be sued actually, but that's up to him.
All right, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Residential building, new home starts 24, as the mayor said. Homes under construction are at 46. 6 additions, 14 alterations this year. Villas of Taramina Phase 2, they completed their roadways. We are sending out residential rental inspection letters. The certificates will be due back in September. Dunkin' Donuts, they started and they're working now on the foundation. The footers are complete. And I will have a complete list of this in the messenger so that everybody could see the commercial sites that are on there and status of our roadways. That concludes my report.
Good job.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
since you are going to be sending out these inspection, what is it, the residential inspection letters?
Yes.
Does that mean you have a list now of the rental properties?
Kayla's finishing up the
Okay,
list.
because I'd
yes.
asked for that, and I would like a list of all those
I'm aware of that.
rental properties.
I'm aware, and you'll
around.
get a copy.
Okay.
Yep.
And was the Dunkin' Donuts site an old gas station with tanks in the ground?
Yes,
And that's all been dug up and removed and
correct.
remediated?
Yes,
Okay, who
For
was in charge of
years.
it?
Mhm.
Did they do that
Speedway.
when they first left?
yes.
Did they do that before they moved into the new building?
Right.
Before Dunkin' Donuts bought
So
the
that's not a
property.
concern at
Correct.
all?
No, when they left and went to the new one, immediately they took the tanks out.
Okay.
So it's been mostly just an eyesore
Right.
Yes,
for years.
Do we have a menu yet?
not yet.
Yeah. I think there'll be more people at that grand opening than any other grand openings we've ever had.
No,
Calendar
Popeye.
now.
You got
Popeye,
Yeah,
I'm
Popeye
telling you,
too.
people really, really like Dunkin' Donuts. All right, Angela, what you got for us with no cholesterol?
Well, I have just a few items. Number one, we debuted a brand new website for the Recreation Center this week. So I invite people, even if you've been to our website, to revisit it. It is much more user-friendly, much more informative. It has a sharp look to it, so I invite everyone to visit macrec.com. And we are working towards implementing online registration as well as part of this whole revamping of our website. So we're very excited about it. We've been waiting for this for quite a while. The services were donated, so it didn't cost the city anything. So I invite you to visit our website if you haven't already. I'd also like to invite everyone to our 5th annual Movie in the Park and fireworks display this year on Friday, August 3rd. That starts at 8 p.m. in Longwood over on the baseball fields. The movie this year is Puss in Boots. This is co-sponsored by Stone Creek Community Church. There will be free popcorn, free snow cones, free glow necklaces, free candy, all kinds of free goodies for the kids. So we invite everybody to come out to that event. And last but not least, just to remind everybody of our annual facility closing for maintenance. That's coming up at the end of August. We will not be meeting here again prior to that, so I wanted to make that announcement tonight. We will be closed from August 20th to the 26th. We will reopen on August 27th. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
How about a little bit of information about the farmer's market?
The farmers market is every Tuesday in the Recreation Center parking lot from 3 to 7. And We started, gosh, mid-June, and it has been extremely successful. We have different vendors. We have some of the same vendors that come on a weekly basis. Some weeks we have different vendors that have signed up for individual weeks. On average, we usually have about 10 vendors per week. We have everything from fresh produce to flowers and plants to fresh donuts made on site, kettle corn, all kinds of goodies. So bakeries, we have fresh bread, fresh pastries, jellies and jams, honey, homemade peanut butter, you name it. So it's been very successful, and we've had a lot of traffic coming in just to attend that event on Tuesdays. So we're very pleased.
The 2 times I was there, it was busy, and the second time it was 100 degrees, and they were still there, and people were still buying. So
Yeah.
that's all good stuff. And that's good stuff about the fireworks and about that movie in the park and all the freebies. That's a good job, because you're the one who had to go out there and secure all of this stuff. People don't volunteer. You have to go out and you have to ask and you have to work. That's a lot of work put in by you and your staff, along with the striping of the streets and the roads that have been fixed and the new police cars and the new salt trucks and all the other things. We're giving taxpayers the value of the dollars they give us. And speaking of the dollars they give us, Europe's got to talk about dollars.
I wanted to ask Angela. Angela, how did the old car show go?
The car show was very successful, and we were a little worried because unfortunately on that day, the one thing that can ruin a cruise-in is the weather.
Yeah.
So we had dark clouds looming over us all day, which we were worried was going to really hurt the event. But we did end up with approximately 30 cars, which we thought was pretty good for a first attempt. We were hoping to at least get 20, and we exceeded that, so we were pleased with that. We did have a band there, and you know, we took some notes, so we're going to try and expand on that and make that bigger and better for next year. We had a lot of people attending who did not have cars in the show itself, but we had quite a few people come just to walk around and enjoy the event. We had food, music, and then the cars to walk around and view. So, and I appreciate the newsletter actually came out, and I saw they took some really nice pictures and had them in the paper this week,
Right.
so I appreciate that.
So you're going to not do it no more this year? You're going to just wait and do it next year then, or?
Yeah, we're just going to wait and do it next year. There's a lot of local shows that are on a weekly basis that are hard to compete with in this
Yeah.
area. So we thought we would just kind of do, you know, next year either another one big show or
Okay.
maybe once a month, something like that. We haven't
All right.
quite decided yet, but
Okay,
we're going to
thanks.
continue.
Thanks.
Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. We had our first internet auction for used equipment a couple weeks ago, and we collected over $12,000, one for a used dump truck without the body, and another one for slightly about $8,000 for a dozer that we haven't used for years. So with that $12,000, Jim's been looking to buy a stainless steel body for an older truck that we have to try to refurbish. So I'll ask council next meeting to reappropriate that money that we collected on that used equipment for Jim to buy that truck bed if he goes ahead with that plan. The city had no out-of-pocket costs for that. The 6% commission gets tacked on to the final sale price, and the buyer has to pay that. So we're looking to also unload some equipment at the rec center that is obsolete, and possibly some refrigerators or whatever else that we have a used inventory that the equipment the city's no longer using. So govdeals.com is the, give them a plug, and all residents can just go on and just like eBay auction, and you win it, it's here to be picked up, and certified check, and then we'll release it. So it's a good opportunity. There's a lot of people have used it and picked up some pretty good bargains from the, it's really just for municipal villages, townships to list your equipment on it for it. The good news that's in our packet is we're 16.7% increased revenue on income tax over last year. We're $580,809 above the 2011 collections for the same period. At the end of the June, we have an unexpended balance of $7,176,000 compared to $6,192,000. So we're almost $1 million over from collections from last year. And I want to stress that a large part of that, even though it's 0.25% tax increase, is just a bump in the economy. We're seeing a lot more withholding and individual tax rates that are part of this $580,000 collections from previous years. And that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Tim?
Thank you, Mayor. The fire department's out, starting its annual fire hydrant flushing program. You'll see the trucks out. If your water runs a little rusty, go to the lowest level in your house and let the cold water run. Don't run any hot, because it'll get into your hot water tank. Just your cold water at your lowest level till it runs clear. If there's any other problems, give the fire department a call. That's all I have.
Tim, if you could please reiterate for me what you told me about the hydrants, flushing them, and Cleveland Water having classes regarding the effects of flushing hydrants?
Yeah, when we flush hydrants to make sure that the hydrant is greased and working, the threads are good. The hydrant's not going to break under pressure. If we come and hook to it at time of a fire, we want to make sure it's going to work. It's going to open, it's going to close, the threads are good, and it's not going to break. Also for the water mains too. But they get sediment. These are metal pipes, they're cast metal pipes. They get a lot of sediment in it. That sediment starts to block the pipe and can take up a bunch of space inside the pipe. We flush them every year to flush that stuff through there, make the water mains nice and clean and clear through there, and identify any hydrants that we have that are bad. To be able to do that, we have to open and close hydrants. Cleveland Water has come out, as they have in the past, and they train all of our employees on how to open the hydrant correctly, slowly enough, so that we're not causing problems.
And that's exactly what I was hoping you would talk about, the fact that we're being proactive, and we realize that Cleveland Water blames the water main breaks on us, and we're taking steps to not have water main breaks.
Unfortunately, when you're flowing a hydrant, it does put a stress on the underground water mains. In some of our areas, they're very old. They're not very large, and they do take it. But we try to coordinate with Cleveland Water to open and close them slowly. We have to do this to ensure that they work. If we just leave them and don't touch them, they're not going to work when we need them.
Water mains don't just break because of the hydrants either. I remember one time last year that we had 5 water main breaks going on at the same time. I believe that's when Highland Road was broken. And we had other water main breaks. Well, you don't hear about those because they're on side streets, the water main's in a ditch, it breaks. It doesn't bother anybody. When it breaks on 82 or Highland Road, all kinds of havoc happens. But water main breaks are not uncommon. They happen all the time, and sometimes, even when we report leaks, they're very, very slow to come out and fix them. So I'm glad we're taking steps not to cause any problems. I like that. Thank you. John?
A couple things, Mayor. I want to remind the residents about scams that are going around. They vary from time to time, but some of the usual ones we see are lottery scams, where you don't enter a specific lottery, but somebody in Spain calls and said you won the Spanish lottery. Didn't happen. We'll see you've won a lottery and you have to send X amount of dollars to collect your winnings to pay the taxes or whatever excuse they give you. You didn't win. If you win a lottery, you don't have to send money. You don't have to pay anything to be a winner. A lot of these target the older people. For example, a family member got this in the mail. Probably everybody saw it. It has a little key attached to it. And this person informed me that she had won $25,000 or a vehicle. When I told her I'm sure that she didn't, she reminded me, no, I did call, and they said I'm a winner. Turns out she won a gold-colored coin worth about 10 cents. So this is just one example of some of the scams that are going around. Another one is they will research you, and you'll get a phone call, usually late in the night, your nephew is in jail in Italy, and he needs bond money. And they know his name, they know your name. He's not in Italy. You would have heard that your nephew is leaving the country and going to Italy. There's also diversion scams that are going around where you get a knock on the door, somebody dressed in some sort of uniform type from the gas company, the water company, or somebody, and they got some little design on their car or van. They say, you know, there's a gas leak in the area, there's a water leak in the area, there's whatever. It's important that I come in your basement and check to make sure your house isn't going to blow up or something along those lines. Well, obviously, you take them in, down into the basement, they look around, they bang on some pipes or whatever, okay, you're clean. They leave. Here, the second guy who was laying down in the vehicle snuck in when you went in the basement and stole your jewelry or whatever. So those are diversion scams. Don't let anybody in your house. Call us if that happens. Get the plate, call us immediately, and just be careful. Another thing that we saw this summer was women would go watch their children play baseball or whatever at some of the ball diamonds, and they would lock their purses in their vehicles, hidden now. These aren't in the open, hidden, and inevitably somebody would break the window and steal their purse. I talked to some of the lady friends that I know around town, and apparently this is a practice that women do. And I try to discourage it as much as I can, but they do it and purses get stolen. It's happened here, it's happened in Northfield, it's happened in Sagamore, it's happened in Twinsburg, it happens all around. Take your purse with you. Don't leave it locked in the car. There's a good chance somebody's going to break in and take it, and then you have to replace all the things that you had in there, credit cards, IDs, everything like that. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Good job. Joe?
Nothing, Mayor?
All right, we'll move on to unfinished business.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a question for you. I was asked before the meeting, when you were out in the beginning of the year, we had appropriated some money for the fingerprinting time clocks, and they were waiting for you to come back. They asked me the status of that, and I said I didn't know, that I would ask. Either you or Scott. I asked Scott, and we didn't have time because we came out here, so. Do you know?
Well, I
do you
wish
know?
you would have called me,
I
and I'd
just
have
found
had
out.
an answer for you,
I just
Rita,
found out.
because I don't have an answer right now.
So-
I'd be more than
Scott's
happy to
been
get
working
you an
on it.
answer.
I know the street department went back to the old punch clocks. I know they had some problems with the electronic one they did have, and that's why we were looking into, you know, they had a time swipe card, and it was not being accurate, and there was different problems. If you came in early, the card would throw off a different read. If you were assigned to work at 6:30 and you were within a 7-minute window, say you came in at 6:15, that card swipe was going to report it inaccurately, and so that gave some payroll problems because you weren't supposed to clock in before 15 minutes. So we couldn't iron out those bugs, and right now we went back to the old method of they're still punching in with a time clock card, and so we still need to go forward and look and see what we're going to do as far as. One of the problems with using a fingerprint card, I understand too, is that the thumbprint, if the guy is greasy or has some other problem with the thumbprint, then that card reader's not having the ability to read it either. So I know there's different technology, but we're still looking into what will work best for the street department or some other areas that we
But the
need.
money's still appropriated for
Yes,
it, and you're
yes.
still looking into it?
Right.
Okay, I was just asked before the meeting what's going on, and I said I would find out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other unfinished business?
Yes, Mayor, not to put our county councilman at large on the spot, is there some latest news about the casino coming into Northfield Village that you could tell us about? Or is there a plan where the neighboring communities are all getting together and anticipating the problems that might cause before we have those problems?
I can talk just very briefly,
At the-
because I represent the whole county.
Right, people are calling me up in my house asking what's going on with this casino.
And I have had some Sagamore residents contact me because they were concerned about traffic on Sagamore Road. I am aware of the fact that, you know, it's going to be a racino, it's going to be managed by the Ohio Lottery Commission. Northfield is proceeding with that. I was at their meeting last night. They had a very brief discussion about potential additional revenues and then additional services that they would have to be offering that might offset some of that additional revenue. I mean, I can do further research and get back to you if that would be.
I heard they're gonna get $500,000 every 6 months for 2 years to pay for their infrastructure, and I'm thinking, well, who's gonna pay us for the additional police, for the car accidents and the heart attacks and the so forth and so on that are gonna happen when people win their money? I mean, we're gonna need mutual aid and all kinds of stuff.
I'm not aware of the payments that they're gonna receive. I'm not aware specifically of the financing. I actually had some discussions with them last night relative to their internet. They have 3 internet casinos. And actually, the revenue from those are relatively significant. That's more of the discussion last night than
Okay.
the casino itself.
Could you get back to me?
Certainly.
Thank you.
The scuttlebutt that I've heard discussed is that it's not moving anywhere at this time, Bill. They're still working out details, so. But those internet casinos bring in $200,000 a year, I think. That's a lot of bucks. All right, moving on. Any other unfinished business? New business? Motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.